Ever get the feeling that AI is, like, almost there, but not quite? Good at mimicking, but not really getting it.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Well, buckle up because today we are diving into OpenAI's new model,
Okay.
O1, and this just might be the biggest leap forward in AI that we've seen, well,
Yeah, it's causing quite a stir.
in a while. This MIT Technology Review article calls it, get this, the start of a race for AI that can out-reason humans.
Yeah, that's an understatement if I've ever heard one.
Right.
We should probably, figure out what O1 actually is before we get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, so ground us. What is O1 and what makes it different from, say, GPT-4?
Okay, so O1 is, in a nutshell, all about multi-step reasoning, right?
Okay.
It's designed to work through problems in a more, I guess you could say, human-like way.
Okay.
It uses this really interesting technique called chain of thought. Imagine, like, you're trying to solve a complex equation.
Right.
You wouldn't just, magically arrive at the answer. You would sort of break it down into smaller steps.
Right, you'd follow a logical process.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what O1 does. It doesn't just spit out a solution. It shows its work. Like, it lays out its thought process step by step.
No, interesting.
So it can handle these much more complex problems than previous language models, which always struggled with anything, beyond simple reasoning.
So it's like O1 can connect the dots in a way that other AI couldn't.
Exactly. And this isn't just theoretical. OpenAI is saying that O1 can, ace tests like the U.S. Math Olympiad and even answer PhD-level questions with incredible accuracy. We're talking about the potential to completely revolutionize fields like drug discovery, material science.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Give me an example. How could this change things in the real world?
Okay, imagine, right? O1 is helping scientists develop totally new materials, like with properties that we haven't even thought of yet. Lighter, stronger building materials, self-healing fabrics.
That's mind-blowing.
You name it. The potential is definitely there.
It's like we're on the verge of a technological renaissance.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it's super important to be cautious, too.
Okay.
Measuring reasoning in AI, it's not exactly a perfect science.
Right.
And some researchers think that O1's success might partly be because of its massive training data, rather than true reasoning.
So it might be knowing the answer rather than truly thinking its way to it?
Yeah, like that student who aces the test because they memorized the textbook.
Right.
It's an important difference because we need to understand the true capabilities and limitations of O1 before we get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like we're trying to figure out if O1 is actually a genius or just really good at test taking.
It might be a bit of both.
Right.
I mean, even with those limitations, it's doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
It's doing better than all the other models, even beating human experts in some areas.
Right.
But there's another layer to this that I think we need to talk about.
Okay, lay it on me. What else is there to consider?
All this power.
Yeah.
It comes at a cost, literally. Yeah, access to O1 is way more expensive than any of the models that came before. We're talking 3 times the cost of using GPT-4.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this super-powered brain power doesn't come cheap.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder about who has access to this, right?
Yeah.
If only these really well-funded companies and institutions can really use O1 to its full potential, it could make the gap between the haves and have-nots even bigger.
It's a really good point. It's like having this incredible new scientific instrument, but only a select few get to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's something we should think about as this technology gets, more advanced.
Right.
What happens when all this power is in the hands of just a few?
Yeah, that's a really good reality check because it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of all this, right? What O1 can do and everything. But, we got to think about the bigger picture. So where do we go from here? What's next for O1 and this whole idea of AI that can reason?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, we're in totally uncharted territory.
Yeah.
O1 is so new, we're all still trying to figure out how it works.
Right.
Really what it can do, what its limitations are.
It's kind of like we've discovered a brand new element,
Right.
on the periodic table or something.
Yeah.
We know it's got potential, but we don't know how to handle it safely yet.
Exactly. And like any really powerful tool or discovery, it's up to us to determine, I guess, how it shapes the world.
Right.
Right? Is this going to be a force for good, or is it going to exacerbate inequalities or, something in between?
It's a big question.
It's a big question.
But for our listeners who are like maybe freaking out a little bit right now,
Sure.
what's the key takeaway here? Why should they care about O1?
Because O1, it's not just another step in AI development.
Okay.
It's a fundamental shift, I think, in how we solve problems.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
imagine a future where AI, it's not just this tool, but it's a collaborator
Okay.
helping us solve these really complicated challenges
Right.
in medicine, in engineering, even in art and literature, you know.
So it's less about AI taking over and more about working alongside it
Yeah, right.
to accomplish things that we couldn't do on our own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting,
Right.
but, also kind of daunting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we're standing at the edge of like this whole new world of possibilities, and who knows what we'll be able to do. Right.
With O1.
Only time will tell.
Right.
But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
It is going to be interesting. Well said. And on that note, I want to thank you for joining me on this deep dive into OpenAI's O1. We covered a lot, from chain of thought to, all the ethical questions.
It's been a pleasure, a really great conversation.
It has. And for our listeners, we encourage you to, keep learning, keep asking questions, and we'll see you next time.